I just got done doing a call with my business mastermind where I help other musicians build online music education businesses. And one of the topics that came up was how their students are getting such better results in this online group format. And I jotted down some notes so you guys can also see some of the benefits of putting something like this together. And if you already have something like this together, it will shed some more insight so you know what you're actually building and the value you're giving out into the world. The first aspect I want to talk about is something called accelerated learning through social modeling. And essentially what this is students learn faster when they observe their peers succeed. So it's called vicarious learning. And watching others solve problems, that helps them to internalize what they're discovering together without the direct instruction. And this concept doesn't happen if it's a one-on-one situation. It also motivates other people on what's possible, and it's a beautiful thing about the group format. Another thing about an online group model is the calls are recorded. So how many have been in a lesson before, and then when you learn something in a lesson, you're like, what did the teacher said? Oh, I wish I could remember that. And the chances are when you leave the lesson, everything that the mentor said, you're trying to remember everything they said. And only if there was a way to record it, and not only just record it, but to see, especially when it comes to music, what they were doing, the fingering positions they were doing, the posture, everything. If it was all recorded and documented, wouldn't that be nice? Well, that's one of the great things about this online group programs, is that it's recorded so they can rewatch it. And then you can pause it, you can slow it down, and you can relearn on your own time, something you can never do in a one-on-one situation or in-person situation. Even in-person in a group, you can't rewind that, right? So there's a real benefit to having it online. And it just goes infinite. They can study it as much as they want. And then another aspect of this model is really cool, is access to world-class educators that they could never get to. That may be in a different location. So like sometimes you have to be in a certain location with someone you want to study with if it's in person, right? However, online, it allows the students to be mentored with anyone, all around the world that can give them an insane value that they can never normally have access to. So it's a huge advantage to the students, and your students, is that you can have that kind of impact. And it's a beautiful situation. And also in the online group format, for the amount of access they get to you, if you were to total that up, if it was one-on-one, it would be a pretty penny. It'd be way more than even charging a premium pricing for an offer like this. Because normally, if there was, say, some sort of workshop in a city, it's only limited to the people in the city. Now imagine if you can tap into other motivated people with the same ambitions, the same goals, the same drive, and it just makes the possibility almost endless as far as creating a really amazing community. And another benefit of the online group model is that everyone's motivation soars in a group. So like, human beings, like, we're tribal by nature. And when others are showing up, sharing wins, it drives everyone else to rise up. So in one-on-one lessons, you don't see the other students' journey. So that kind of momentum doesn't exist, and only exists in the group format. And online, specifically, it allows you to connect with really great quality people from all around the world. Okay. And another aspect that came up when I was talking to my community is they're discovering that the students are getting more feedback from multiple angles. So like in a group setting, students get the teacher feedback and also the peer feedback. So that's like another angle. That's like the power of the mastermind, where all the different minds come together, and it creates another part of the brain that it taps into that you normally couldn't do in a one-on-one situation. And what it does is it leads to faster improvement. And in private lessons, they only get that one opinion from the mentor. The group programs, the mentors there, they kind of guide everyone. However, they're getting a lot of different perspectives on the calls. It's a beautiful situation. Another benefit of an online program versus one-on-one lessons is that the programs are formatted in a way where they're systematized and they're battle tested. So in a one-on-one lesson, a lot of the times the lessons and one-on-one lessons, they're improvised. You may have noticed that when you go to one-on-one, let's kind of improvise on like what it is. However, with these group programs, as the students go through it, it creates what's called the flywheel. So the more students that go through it, the better it gets for more students that come through it, because it has like a hive mind of information that we know works better and better as more students go through it. And it's a beautiful thing. Whereas one-on-one lessons, it's kind of improvised, where the student comes in like, what do you want to work on today? Okay, let's do this. However, when all the students are following this battle-tested roadmap, what happens is it gives more consistency to the results. And then they can come on the calls and then mastermind with all the other students and the mentor on the calls and solve any issues that they may have. It's beautiful. Another benefit of it is really strong accountability. So group check-ins, it's all built into it. So then this way, they're not in a vacuum like they normally be with a one-on-one lesson. It's just between them and the student. However, everything's open in the public. So everyone's going to know, I don't want to hold back the group. I don't want to be the weak link of the group. I want to rise up to the occasion. And that type of energy, that accountability doesn't exist in the one-on-one format. Okay. Another benefit is the real world networking. So students in group programs, they form friendships, lifelong partnerships, lifelong accountabilities. And this turns into a lesson, almost like your life is upgraded, where everyone is going on this journey with a support system that they never would have had if it was just one-on-one, right? And then really everyone gets a better transformation for their dollar with the group program, because if you were to total up all the support, it actually, even if you charged a premium for it, it's actually going to be more cost effective than it was if someone were to study one-on-one. So let's take, for example, let's say someone paid you $100 for a lesson and they study with you once a week. Okay, throughout the course of the year, that's already $5,200. Where if a group model, they get 24/7 support in the community, they get multiple group calls they can be a part of, they get accountability, and it has all of those other benefits. And so even if you charge, let's say $4,800, you're even saving them, right? And that's one of the really great advantages for the student and you. One, you get paid as the educator up front, just like a college would. And then two, the student, if you think about it, they save there. Another benefit of it is they also don't have to commute. So think about all the time that is saved from not commuting. And what's your time worth, right? And what's their time worth? So just saving the time aspect of everything makes everyone's life much better. And another benefit of the group that we were discussing is the emotional safety. So it normalizes struggle. So seeing others go through the same fears and failures, it normalizes the journey. They realize, like, look, it's not just me. That mindset shift removes like shame, and it unlocks real progress. So in one-on-one, most students hide their doubts and they stay stuck longer because they think that that's just them, right? Where here, everyone's like, I'm going through that too. Oh yes, I know that. I've been going through that too. Oh, I guess I've been going through that there, right? Okay, so there's that. Another aspects that we talked about that we've been seeing with students is it builds confidence, right? And you become the average of the 5 people you're around. So if people are winning, it's going to rub off on you as opposed to being alone. And sometimes it takes seeing people succeed for it to rub off on you so you succeed. You know, the Bannister, the 4-minute mile. You heard about this story? The gentleman, Bannister, nobody thought it was possible to run the mile in that. He ran the mile. All the other people around him were like, it's possible. So then they ran the 4-minute mile. And this is really what happens is like you see these barriers being broken and you become the average of the people that are around because you're like, it's possible. They did it. And peer mentoring will increase retention for your students too. They'll stick around longer because it's not just about you at this point. It's about this community that's being built, and it's beautiful. And it also gives you a higher lifetime value for your company and what you're doing out into the world. And the students, they become more dependent with this model because there's an element of self-learning here. You're directing them, you're sculpting them, the mastermind's helping them, but they learn how to self-learn, which is the greatest gift you can give to any student. Because once they have that skill, they can apply it to anything in their life, and the benefits far exceed even music. And you know that is when you learned your instruments and your craft, is that when we learn the self-learning discipline of learning our instruments, it just translated into everything. And it's a more relaxed learning environment too in a group too, because like if it's one-on-one, there's a little more pressure, a little more anxiety that goes on. But when it's a group, it's a little more relaxed learning, because some people can just kind of be there and at their own comfort level, right? So those are just some of the benefits of the group. Now, if you're new to my world, that's how I built my success online, was through this model and building these online programs. I'm a trombone player. I started putting trombone content online, and then I discovered putting a premium offer together, and then I started to help other musicians do the same, and many of them have also gotten great results. So there's other resources. If you guys found value in this, hit subscribe, like, leave a comment. What was your biggest takeaway? And also, I'll put you like a link to, I have like a free group you can join if you want. Got a class you can join if you want, all in the description. And appreciate you all so much. There'll be more. Paul the Trombonist, signing off.